I thought that you will ask some, some feedback for you, and I had like a speech prepared. Uh,
Hey, I listen. I'm all here for it.
yeah, I mean, like, I would say, like, a really simple answer. Like, no offense, but like, let's
Sure.
say I'm huge like watcher of CS because
Mm-hmm.
like in Ukraine, for example, CS like is a really huge thing like
Yep.
compared to Overwatch, and I think like you pretty much know it because like simple and everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and let's say esports players usually, from my perspective, again, no offense, but like not the smartest people. And I was,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
No,
like,
no offense meant. You're not wrong.
yeah, not the smartest people, especially when it comes to interview, because like for example, like we have Ukrainian channels that like does lots of interviews with Ukrainian
Yep.
CS players,
Yep.
and it's so hard to listen to them, man. Like it's
Yeah.
insane.
The
They
gamer, the
cannot.
gamer stereotype, right? Not super
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
communicative.
yeah, yeah. They cannot even like, connect couple of words together, and it's just,
Yeah.
even though I may be like interested into them like as a humans, but sometimes I just don't want to. I just can't listen to them.
Yeah. I
So
understand.
yeah, I remember I was working, and I was thinking what should I put like on my background just for me to like concentrate, and I pulled up, I think it was like a video where you gave a presentation or something like in university, I guess.
It might have been the coaching the coach thing. Was it? Let me actually link the video. Was it maybe this one here?
Yeah, 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 this one.
Yeah.
And I think after that, I like even though I had already like an impression of you, I think after that I definitely decided that I want to try it because like the way how you speak, like I can understand that you're a reasonable person, and like you have at least like what I thought that your critical thinking is quite nice.
Thank you.
So yeah, I think that's the main reason. Like you know how to talk, and you can
Yeah.
like actually explain. You won't like say some like really like, let's say, terms that I won't understand, and like if I have any questions, you can actually answer them, and you will try
Sure.
to explain it as much as you can, because not only because of this, but your experience in coaching in general.
Sure, sure. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I think the ability to communicate it takes a lot of practice and takes a lot of time. I think when you think about a lot of these esports people, whether it's CS or Overwatch, their
It's really hard.
their
Yeah,
experience is very narrow, right? They only have the skill
yeah,
set to
yeah,
succeed with where
yeah,
they're at. And I do think that the ability to communicate is a good life skill, and unfortunately, not everyone has the
yeah.
opportunity to practice
It's,
that.
honestly, like I just, I have just questions like why, because even like when we take off, like all the esports thing and everything like that, you have
Hmm.
to like communicate with people in your like
Yep.
real life, and you have to
Yep.
know like some skills, but it seems like they don't have at all. And like, okay,
Hmm.
maybe you don't need to like to practice like every day like speaking or something like that, but like if you are uh, a famous person, let's say,
Yeah.
I guess it's good for you to know how to give interviews and to actually practice it. And yeah,
Right.
that's why it's always like really surprising for me that they don't know
Yeah,
how to do it.
yeah. I think kind of like you said, it's not just about. It's just the ability to communicate is just a life skill, right? And it
Yeah,
does help a lot of players that I know succeed in their paths. I mean, not every player is good at that, but I do think that it would be useful for esport players as a whole to be able to communicate, even just with their teammates and with their coaches. I know a
true,
lot of players that
true,
have
true.
failed because they can't do that, and
Oh
they're
yeah,
unable to communicate their thoughts effectively.
um,
So
yeah.
you're absolutely
Not
right.
only in Overwatch, definitely.
Yep, absolutely. So you hope to get out of the session, and I'm looking at the form here. If there's anything that's changed since you filled it out,
Yeah,
let me
yeah, yeah.
know. You say, I want to
True.
point out, I need to point out mistakes, what can be done better, to have a possibility to ask questions if they arise, and to have a proper answer and discussion regarding them. Makes total sense. Your gold DPS at the time, platinum tank and support at the time,
Yep.
and it sounds like you want to focus on Genji and Sojourn. Is that still the case?
Uh, yeah, probably like it's most Genji, because
Mostly
like
Genji.
Genji,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's my like pretty much one trick. But like whenever
Yep.
I feel miserable to play Genji, and I just don't want to play at least like against four counter picks, or I'm just tired, or like Genji speaks, I'm picking Sojourn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
makes total sense. Makes total sense. I think Genji is really why I'm even playing the game nowadays. So
yeah,
I
that's
think it's
that's why I am playing the game
yeah,
still.
yeah,
Yeah,
makes total sense. Okay, so let's talk about Genji Sojourn practice right now. So you said you're basically a Genji one trick. How long
yeah.
have you been playing Overwatch, and how long have you been focusing on Genji specifically?
So I started playing in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I quit in 2020, I think, like after they introduced role lock. I played a couple of months and decided to quit because, yeah, like other reasons, but yeah, like I didn't get any fun. And I came back to Overwatch pretty much last summer.
Sure.
So when I started, I think I played firstly like Ryan most of my hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like he is my second highest character in terms of hours, even still. And yeah, after that, I pretty much switched to Genji and like played Genji since then.
So Ryan
Nothing
Genji,
changed.
and then support. I assume it's just kind of something you play a little bit here and there when you do play support.
Yeah, Anna, pretty
Okay.
much.
Um, I'm gonna show you something funny really fast here.
Actually, I think like currently like I play more on Winston and really enjoy like Junker Queen since I came.
You said Ana, Genji, and Reinhardt.
Yeah.
-1
Yeah.
hero. You nailed it right there. I started out as a Genji main, got
Yeah.
bullied into Reinhardt because of no role lock, played
Yeah.
primarily Reinhardt for a long time, and then picked up Ana. I actually dropped 570 something SR to pick up Ana because I was really bad at her, but I really wanted to play her. So besides then, we've got the same hero pool.
It's cool.
So
I actually, yeah, I think I firstly picked Ryan because of no role lock, and no one was wanted to play
Same.
tank, and I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, and like someone has to play, so
Yep.
it's gonna be me, and I actually enjoyed playing him a lot. But yeah,
Yep.
after that, it's pretty much
Yep.
discovered Genji and played Genji since
So
then.
now you're kind of back on the Genji grind, and I respect that. And so you're gold at the time on Genji. You basically one trick Genji until you're kind of fed up with the garbage, and so you pick a little Sojourn here and there, which can be useful.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Preparing my Bachelor Defense, so I was playing 1 or 2 days per week. I usually spend around 3 to 4 days, sometimes all 7, depends. Sessions can go for 1 to 2 hours on work days and 3 to hours plus on weekends. Is that still the case?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Finally,
Okay.
finished this bachelor, so gonna
Okay, good,
come back.
good. I like your play session length. I think 1 to 2 hours is perfect for your goals, and I think having 3+ hours on weekends is fine. But honestly, like anything more than 3 or 4 hours is probably unnecessary. I also
Yeah,
like
I
the
mean,
fact that you're basically one tricking too. Now, I don't know if you're playing Genji every day, but obviously, like that would be the optimal goal would be to get a little
pretty
Genji.
much. Yeah, pretty much.
Perfect. Do you have a warm up routine, or do you warm up at all?
I mean, I was playing. Usually, I'm playing a couple of quick plays, but currently, since 6v6, I'm playing 6v6.
Just 6 or 6. Yeah, seems
Yeah,
totally fine.
couple of the games. and
Yeah,
then-
that's actually pretty fun because I think 6 versus 6 is probably a little bit more competitive than quick play. People are trying a little bit harder, so that's probably fine.
Yeah, I missed it so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that that's probably fine for the meantime if that's what you want to do. If you want to like min max your value, I think for Russian, Ukrainian, EU, I think that there's going to be pretty consistently a tryhard that will have reasonable ping for you. This one's empty right now, but I would always check this out if you can to see if there's anybody in it. And then if that's not available, I would periodically check the queue times for this right here. 8-player free-for-all deathmatch as well, especially for Genji.
Yeah.
Especially for Genji. Just because of the nature of your duels, your mechanics, your movement, your taking engagements and disengaging, I think that like Genji is the most combo-focused character in the game in terms of knowing how to 1v1 every different character. And I think getting your mechanical practice and your warm-up through this is probably optimal.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, but totally up to you. If you're enjoying 6v6, I think it's probably fine. Let's keep going here. So in general, I want to play a little bit better. For me, Overwatch is just a game after work where I can log in, play for a couple of hours, and log off. But it can be quite frustrating at times when I hate to lose. Yeah, I mean, obviously we're not exactly going for top 500 here necessarily by any means.
Yeah.
So just improving with where we're at. I do want to caution you. Maybe it's just the way that you framed it here, but
Yep.
I think if you were the difference between let's say gold Genji and like let's really shoot high diamond Genji, the difference between gold and diamond long term, I think is only like 1 or 2% win rate. So you'll win like let's say to get to gold to diamond, like let's say that you have to win, 19, 20 games, something like that, like a positive 19, 20 games, something like that, right? But the reality is that once you hit diamond, you kind of plateau a little bit and you only end up winning slightly more games, like 1 or 2 games out of 100 more than a gold player would. It's like the difference, like a average GM player has like a 54% win rate or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And an average gold player would be like right at 50% generally around. So, you're going to hate losing now. And then like, let's say we get you to diamond, you're still going to hate losing. And there's going to be a lot of it. So I think that is it's not a great long-term motivator.
Of course, like it's not. I would think that, I thought about it a little bit more, but like genuinely, I enjoy playing Overwatch, and I honestly enjoy like doing something great. And I can acknowledge when something is good, like when I have like good kill fields or something like that, a
Yes.
lot of
Yes.
kills.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, just maybe if I will have a little bit more of understanding after the game, like when I can, just because I usually have like pauses after the game, just to go like drink water or something. I can, reflect and maybe like understand something more. It will be much easier for me to like focus on the next game, and
Sure.
yeah, just not be as like not frustrated in particular, but not as sad probably.
I understand, and see that seems to make a lot more sense to me because that is something that you
Yeah,
can
yeah, yeah.
always control is a better understanding of what would be required from you, of what went wrong, of what went right, of like kind of like a little bit of an ownership of knowing and not there being this lost. I don't know what needed to be done differently. I remember
Yeah.
being in silver, and I wasn't obviously you're more intelligent now than I was when I was initially starting the game in silver, but it did really feel at times in silver where I really just didn't know. Like I didn't know what went wrong. Was we running the wrong comp? Did I make any mistakes? Like I just didn't really know it, and that can be a very
Mm-hmm.
confusing and overwhelming feeling. And so I think educating
Yeah.
yourself can definitely help with that. Just as long as you set your expectations reasonable, and I think like you said, pursuing fun. Like what is fun? I like 66. I like Genji. All right, well then like let's
Yeah,
lean
yeah,
into
yeah.
those
Like
things, right?
nothing crazy because I'm too old to become like pro in Overwatch.
Yeah. Well, you're too busy.
And
That's the thing, right? Like you're doing
yeah,
too
yeah,
many
yeah.
things, right? Your bachelor's and so many other things, I'm sure as well. So,
And
okay,
besides that, yeah, I need to live on like something, so
of
I have to
course,
work. And yeah.
of course. Okay, so you feel like your mechanics are a weak point, and understanding probably plays a role also, at least the time of the form.
Yeah, I think like I thought about it, and I think like, of course, probably everything is the weak point because you can improve every day, every
Yeah.
time, in every
Yep.
point. So,
Yep.
but yeah, I think like whenever I play, I think mechanics is the one that frustrates me the most because
Yes.
I never like Overwatch is pretty much my first shooter, and I
Yep.
got my
Same.
PC at like 15 years old, so it's quite I'd say quite a um old time to start playing when you have your like school finishing, you have exams and something like that. So I haven't like really spent much time to
Yeah. Yeah.
understand, and yeah, like
Sure.
um,
Sure.
always had a problem with that. Not only in Overwatch, in CS, in Valorant, like every
Yeah.
game.
Of course. Of
Much.
course. I can give you a quick crash course if you'd like on improving your mechanics if you want.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
So I'm not going to be, we won't have as much time to go in depth on many of these things, but I can at least give you
Yep.
some insight. So there's a couple of categories. We'll talk about mental, physical health. So, focus, sleep, exercise. That's probably the least important one. They're very important for life and for your learning, but for raw mechanics, like it's not as
Yeah.
important. But yeah, your ability to focus, your sleep, etc. Enjoying game. That's just like basically the physical. I'm typing this out in your channel as well. So just
Yeah, yeah,
kind
yeah.
of like the state that you go into the game, and then the consistency. Let's say training quality, ranked, high effort games. Mechanic specific practice, free for all, aim trainers, competitive. We'll say Vaxta, which is we'll say custom game. So there's a lot of people out there that swear by aim trainers, and I think that the aim trainers have their place for helping fix mouse control issues and getting more comfortable with aiming. That's more of something if you enjoy them, then I encourage you to do so. But I think for Genji specifically, it's not going to be enough. You really do need to spend a
Yeah.
lot of time in game because of how the character functions, right? So I think free for all is great because of its rapid exposure to those dueling mechanics. Like you're constantly engaged in close range 1v1s, constantly. Like
Yep.
there's no major downtime. The deaths are instantaneous. You come right back. And so I really improved my mechanics through Genji, and most players that I know have improved the Genji mechanics through free-for-all. But it also ranked as well. So that's the big thing here. The other one is peripherals, and that's basically your gear. I would say 140 frames per second is optimal for mechanics. Good EDPI, I would say anywhere from 3K to 6K EDPI. Are you familiar with EDPI?
No idea.
Effective DPI
But I can Google it.
equals in-game sensitivity times mouse DPI. So basically that means that you would need to know, like this might be a big thing for you. Do you know what your mouse's DPI is? Like how fast your mouse moves?
Man, I think like 800. Need to check that.
Yeah, check that really fast for me because that could be an important thing for you.
Yeah, 1 second.
Please.
Because yeah, it's never understood like. Yeah, I have 1,000. I have. Yeah.
1,000?
Yep.
1,000. Okay, so then what is your in-game sensitivity?
Let's open that. I haven't it opened. Yeah, because like I always struggled with speaking sensitivity for myself. Never understood how to do that, and I kind of like just use whatever.
It's a bit overrated, but you do have to put in the base level of work. Like you have to make sure it's okay, and then you don't worry about it anymore. But we need to make sure that it's okay.
Yeah, makes sense. Because yeah, it's just that I'm just curious. Like it probably should be different. Let's say for like Genji and for other characters.
Probably not. I know some people that say that, but I am very much against that personally.
Okay.
So I think.
Because I'm curious if I do have it like differently. Second.
No problem.
So 380 on like every character, and yeah, on Genji is the same.
So 3.8.
Yep.
3.8. So that's probably fine. That's around 4,000 EDPI. So that's not a problem with you. As long as you have enough mouse pad space. So I'll put that one as well. Then it's not a problem. Okay. So the next one is training consistency, which would be in addition to mental, physical health. Holy cow. There you go. Playing daily, same time, similar amounts, same heroes, etc. So just basically the same consistency every day, around the same time, around the same heroes, not flexing, filling, whatever. That's basically all mechanics is, right? There really isn't any secret hack way to get there. There are ways that you can accelerate it, but with mechanical training, it's more about avoiding bad habits like not getting enough sleep or playing every single character or changing your sensitivity every single day or playing like 5 hours and then not playing for a whole week, right? If you can avoid those mistakes, mechanics is pretty much just that. It's really not all that flashy or fancy. It's just doing the basic stuff. I remember when I was getting into first-person shooters, Overwatch, there was like a lot of that, especially at that point in time. There was a lot of misinformation, a lot of like, this is the really cool life hack to getting super good mechanics. Just do this, right? And none of it worked, right? The only thing that worked was just practicing over and over again. If you want to see something hilarious here, check this out. So we pull up my, we'll pull up my playtime here. I mean, this is all you need to know. It's 400 hours in deathmatch. And that's not even including, if we go to like custom games here.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they have custom games.
I'm not sure though.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, long story short. Oh, there it is. It's on the left here. So game browser, right? It's 200 hours almost in custom games. And that's almost exclusively free for all deathmatch. So I have around like 500, 450 hours on deathmatch, right? And that's pretty much only on with 3 characters for the most part. Zenyatta, Ana, and Genji. And so like any of my mechanical capability kind of came through just a lot of hours. I would put on music. I would sometimes even turn the game audio all the way down and just rep. So anyway, that's basically the way to do it. You don't have to go to that crazy lengths to get to platinum or just to understand more of what you do. Yeah. But obviously like that's kind of like what's required. So
I remember like, I mean, obviously when I was like younger and I was spending more time to like actually getting better in the game. I remember I watched like also lots of these like videos, something like that, how to improve your mechanics. And like maybe I think I watched like lots of other skills or like even this like basics improvements as you know like play on like with bots or something like that. And it's like I think I didn't believe it because I have never seen any like improvements. Actually, it felt like, and it was always feels like to me that when I like, because like killing bots and killing like actual characters in the game and ranking is like
Yes.
completely different.
Yes.
So that's why I never really like thought it might actually help me. But maybe I should try free for all and it will be much better.
Yeah, it's try free for all. And honestly, like the big thing you have to understand is like with how much you're playing right now, you're not doing anything mechanically exceptional. That means that you should have diamond mechanics, right? Like you have gold level mechanics and you're practicing and playing probably similarly to a gold level player, right? Like gold level player is not a bad player. You're better than 55% of the people playing the game right now, right?
I think it's like most of the people are gold, if I remember
Right.
correctly.
A lot of people are gold. So you're already better than half of the player base. So there's nothing wrong with what you're doing necessarily, but you have to be really good. Like for me to even get to platinum or diamond level mechanics meant that whatever you're doing right now for training, when I got to platinum and diamond, I was doing a little more than you. I was doing a little bit more consistently, right? So, if you want to be that, like we could definitely go back and find out what are some maybe bad habits or some things that we can clean up, like maybe a little bit more free for all, right? But it may just be you need to do what you're doing, but just do a little bit more and a little bit better. And maybe that's just not something that you have the time or interest in, right? I just being realistic, right?
Sense.
You're like the 17-year-old. You don't want to be like the 17-year-old getting into bodybuilding and weightlifting and thinking that they're going to become Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Like that's going to take a lot of work, and most people won't put in the time for that. So, okay. So last thing before we look at some gameplay here, you said understanding probably plays a role as well, and of course, I'm certain that it does. It does for pretty much every person I've ever coached. But do you have any guesses as to what that understanding might be?
It's like I think it's like a compilation of different things. Let's say like my positioning, like what should my role on the map will be, how I should play against like certain counter picks, and it's like everything in between.
Sure,
I
a
guess.
little bit of everything. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
we'll take a look then.
At least that's what I understand. Because like, let's say if you will ask me like why did you do that, I can maybe like explain to you like why have I like thought that it might be a better play, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the right play. So like I think whenever I at least I learned, let's say, how to play Genji, I was just watching a lot of streams like on Twitch, and
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. I was just picking up what other people were doing because I thought it might be a right play.
Sure,
But
of
yeah,
course.
again, it's not necessarily means I understand it from like macro perspective.
I really think, and I'm going to be honest with you, I think watching high-level players is probably one of the worst things that you can do for improving yourself. It's not that it's useless, but it's almost useless. Because I've also been in that position. I remember I would do the exact same thing. I used to watch a lot of Seagull. Do you remember Seagull way back in the day? Like he was the Genji. Shadow 2K. Shadow 2K?
I remember Shadow 2K plus
Shadowburn. Yeah. I would watch their
nice.
VODs back in 2017, 2016. I just didn't know what I could replicate and what I couldn't. All I saw was mechanics, like all I saw was like, I can't do that. Right. And so like, I think a lot of people watch them and it's fun to watch them pop off but they tell themselves, oh, it's educational. It's not really educational. I actually think that it's really hard to watch anything from high-level players until you have a really high level of understanding of what they're doing. Because a lot of time, even the players themselves, they don't even know why they're doing it. They're just kind of like, I've worked with, we talk about like pro players not being good communicators. Pro players sometimes make good coaches, but a lot of times they're terrible coaches because
I just thought about it that not every great player is a great coach, and it's not only comes to Overwatch, like football, for example. I'm a huge football fan, or like soccer, as you call it.
Yes, of course, football. Yeah.
And it's the same thing. You can have like one of the best like strikers in the world, or like who was one of the best strikers in the world, but he's a terrible coach, like terrible, and he failed lots of times already.
Yeah.
So it makes sense, because like when it comes to coaching, it's completely different area of field, and not everyone can do that because not everyone can teach.
Exactly. And it's the teaching and the ability to explain why you're doing what you're doing. So much of high-level gameplay for high-level players is strictly instinctual, which is why they're really good. Like the ultimate goal is to become instinctual with your play because thinking is too slow. But to become instinctual for many players, you do need to think. And the problem is that if you watch a high-level player, you might not know what you're supposed to be thinking about. And I think that that's kind of what we want to look at today. Is I want to give you the steps that you would need to get if you were to apply the time to, so that you could become instinctual. Like we can accelerate that process. So, okay, let's if you have a replay code, let's take a look at that.
Yeah, I mean it's so hard to find a good replay because I most of my games, either I'm getting destroyed or I kind of destroy. Let's say if I can say like that, because
that's
at least
fine.
I feel it's easy.
Yeah, that's
But
fine.
this one I think was quite close.
Okay.
Or kinda close, probably it's a better way. But it was close, I guess, only because we made mistakes in defense, and we pretty much allowed them to push us a lot. And I think one of the mistakes were probably made by me, but I'm not sure.
Okay, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a game to look at as well is just like a game where maybe you had some questions or weren't sure exactly what you needed to be doing. So,
Yeah.
do you feel those moments during this game that there's going to be some stuff to discuss, maybe some things to explain?
I don't know. I can't say right now. Let's see if question will arise. I will ask. Yeah.
Works for me. Yeah, just let me know if we need to pause. Okay,
Yeah.
so the way that I look at Genji, I think it's really important that you have a system, a really basic system of exactly what this character is supposed to do. And I'll tell you my system. You have the opportunity to go practice your system. But then most importantly of all, and this is where a coach needs to step back, I'll give you my system, I'll tell you my structure, I'll tell you what you need to practice. But then I want you to go practice it on your own, and maybe you can adjust my system to better fit what you think or what works for you. So my system for Genji is very simple. All you're going to do is you're going to take a short range off angle. Okay, so wherever your team is, whether they're here or here or here, you're going to take a short range split, not necessarily all the way behind the enemy team. That's what we call a flank, right? But like a little bit of an angle, a short range because you're a very short range character. Even versus characters like Reaper, right? You can contest them up close if you have your deflect and your alternate fire. And then that's it.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting.
No, it's good.
Of course I was watching your videos, and I remember you were talking about, I think I watched the video when you actually made a guy play against lots of counter picks for Genji, and you were talking about this short angle or taking angles, and I always was like, what the fuck is short angle? Because I'm not sure. My English is not the best one, but even translating to Ukrainian is kind of hard to understand what does it mean. But now it makes more sense.
Of course. Yeah, it just basically means that you're going to take a little bit of a different direction. And because you have so much speed, your ability to go vertical, go up, right? It means that you have so many more choices of what you can do. And really, you have the capability to poke from a distance with Genji, with your primary fire. But that's kind of like the minority of situations with how you play Genji. So for you, it's like, we always start with how can we put yourself in that position, whatever that position may be. And then we could talk about how you dash and how you deflect and your mechanics and so on, but putting yourself in that position is the most important thing you could possibly do with Genji. And if you do that, you're going to put yourself in a situation that's much, much better than most Genji players. Like, for example, right now, I like this angle. It's a cool angle, but the problem is that it's a little too far away. You notice this?
Yeah.
So for you to be effective, right? Now that's good that you got close. But I wonder if maybe you would have been better served here, or if this was the end goal. Well, then why not rotate this way so that you can get closer, sneakier?
I mean, it was an end goal because, I see Widow, I want to kill her because, Widow is a huge threat, especially on the goal. If Widow is good, it's going to be hard for people to play against. So,
Absolutely. But the challenge with Genji is not always can you counter their Widow or their Zen or their Ana, but can you get yourself into a good position? You could even shoot tanks, but it depends on the position. Now, the question, is this a short range off angle? And the answer is yes. Actually, it's yes. Yes, it is. Where's your team's pressure? I see Reaper.
Yeah.
I see Hazard, Moira, and Mercy. This is maybe not point blank, immediate, but this is close. This is good.
Yeah.
This is good. Now you're going to need to be careful because you are missing a little bit of HP, but you have your dash, you have your deflect, you have cover. This is perfect. So now you could just throw shurikens.
Yeah,
fine.
but
That's actually a bit unlucky, right? You want to see something funny?
yeah,
Watch his perspective here. My
I know. I watched it. I remember how he killed me actually.
right. He actually is going for the Reaper.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Right. But you know what? The result is still the same. The idea was good. The execution was also good. It's a bit unlucky. Go next. So you
But
work.
like,
Go ahead.
yeah, did like the dash was the right way? Because like you
Yes.
said, just poke with shurikens and like.
The dash was a risk, but you dashed through them and you still had your deflect.
Yeah.
And you had cover. In worst case scenario, you deflect and you drop and you hide and you get your health back and you go back in again. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Like we like this is where the coaching is really important because I'm not going to say, oh, because you died, it was bad. It was a good idea. You got unlucky. Go next.
Yeah.
It's all about objective, right? What is objectively good? What is objectively bad? Sometimes you will live when you make a bad play. Sometimes you will die when you make a good play. That's just how it goes. Nice. So, this is where the question has to be again, where's your off angle, right? So we're throwing some shurikens on Reinhardt, but ultimately our pressure from our team is coming this direction. I need you to come from a different direction. That could be here when they come out. That could be wall climbing and hiding here when they come out. It's your choice. What do you feel feels good right now? What do you think?
I'd say probably it's better to be on. Depends. Like I guess like on the right side you have covers, so you can also always like come back and just be careful if something goes wrong. But on the left side, I guess it's more aggressive since you can get like, or you can frustrate, I guess, more people because more people will see.
You can. You need to be careful with your cover and your dash and your deflect. But I think this feels a little bit more. It's definitely medium risk, right? But it feels like really high reward, right? That being said, if you were to set up here and kind of wall climb, throw shurikens, and kind of shoot the Rhine in the back from here, that would also be very good.
What if I let's say like here instead of shooting the Rhine, I would climb up to the Bastion and just pop deflect before him.
It's okay. It's fine. I mean, it will occasionally work in gold and platinum, diamond and grandmaster even. It will occasionally work. The question is that like with Genji, it's always a question of can I make them move their crosshair to the side?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And you could do the exact same thing that you're saying, which is pop the deflect. But here's a question for you. Unless you jump in front and deflect when he's in the middle of shooting somebody else, which is probably the idea. But here's the question. If you come in from here and throw shurikens, that scares them. That startles them. They go, right? When people are startled or scared, they're going to panic. When they panic, they shoot deflect.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense.
So this is kind of like maybe a similar idea, but I think a more consistent value from throwing from this angle, right? That's why when you dash through the Bastion, you know what he's going to do, right? Remember, he was going to turn around and shoot you, right? You knew what you were doing. You were going to deflect right in his face. And if the Sigma didn't accidentally rock you, then that would have worked quite well. So, the key thing is to be like, this is why being on an angle is so important, because you kind of back up, but now you're not on an angle, and now you're not even close, right? So then you have to help your hazard, you have to use your dash. You see it? And that's what kills you. Going for the Bastion was a good play, but you should have been there in the start. You should have had the dash there.
Yeah.
Cooldown usage was good. The mechanics were fine, honestly. The target focus was fine. I have no complaints. But you should have been there in the first place.
Yep.
Good. A little early in the deflect, but that's fine. You can pop your blade here if you want. Honestly, it happens. It happens. The blade timing was good. The blade target was good. It's just she got a tiny bit of healing from the Kiriko, so you messed up your break point. I think she dropped to like 10 HP. 20. Yeah, 20. That's that. Honestly, again, I'm not going to say it was a perfect play for me. You should have known that she was getting healed, but it is a little bit unlucky. You almost got the break point right. You were just off by a tiny bit. And you still might get value out of blade. Yeah, there you go. Good stuff. So the strategy was just to make them pop Valkyrie and then kill her anyway, right? That was the strategy.
Yeah. I guess.
So, honestly, my biggest annoyance with what's happening, the biggest mistake was you did not decisively take an angle right here. That was the most important mistake because that's the mistake that's going to haunt you in other games, right? Consistently, right? On other maps and other situations.
I don't remember like when I did like get this probably like a bad, I don't know how it's called, like
Habit, maybe?
habit, yeah, maybe habit or
Yeah.
behavior. I think like
Yeah.
when I played like first Overwatch, I heard from someone or like I've seen someone talking about like how you should like as a Genji you should stay with your team most of the time and try not to like being over aggressive because you might die, which leads to your team losing. That's why it might like I sometimes
Yeah.
might like be closer to my team and not
Yeah.
taking the short angles because
Yeah.
I am afraid of like
And it's
being dead.
so bad advice, it's just terrible advice because it's not what makes Genji unique. You notice that what we haven't really talked about is dashing into the middle of the enemy team or going for
Yeah.
backline. I don't really care about that. Like you can hold an angle here. Like let's go back to here, and you could be healed by your team and you have both of your cooldowns and you have cover and the same thing here, right? Same thing, both cooldowns cover. But you're not playing Widowmaker, right? You're not playing Ashe. You don't have to dash into the middle of the enemy team, but you do have to be close enough to provide threat. There is going to be inherent risk in everything that you do. So
Yeah.
it's such terrible advice. And I think I remember those days. I remember people would say there's two styles of Genji. Maybe you've heard this before.
Oh
The
yeah.
the assassin Genji, and then the farm blade on tank Genji, right?
Man, that's like a nostalgia to be honest.
Yeah. It's the
Yeah.
worst advice out there. Even back
remember.
in 6v6, it was terrible, right? The funny thing is that the idea of farming tank on an angle is actually not bad. But you notice that I said on an angle, right? Like what you would do is you'd park yourself, like let's say here, and you shoot the tank, you shoot the div and harass and distract, and you do a lot of damage, and you kind of force them to look at you, right? That's fine. It doesn't matter if you shoot tank. But the problem is that every gold, plat, diamond, bronze, silver player would sit in the backline here and just spam shurikens from here, right?
Yeah.
And then they'd kill nobody with blade, right? It's just terrible advice. Nice job. I think you committed there because you saw Hanzo was low and you had your dash, you had your deflect. I'd love to see it. Good stuff.
Thanks.
I think this is an early deflect, but I don't really care. Oh, you got rocked again. But I don't really care because I don't think you really want to fight in here. But right now, you kind of need to be thinking, we're just kind of, I'm poking, it's fine. But like, they're going to come out soon, right?
Yeah.
So where do you want to be? Like, where are we fighting? You kind of get what I'm saying? I think there's some options here. What are you thinking? Give me some options.
Stairs, maybe?
Yeah, like you could be like here. Yep, sure.
Yeah.
Use your verticality even more.
Yeah, like stairs, breach behind me.
Yeah,
I don't know how to call this one.
You could.
Also, like left side, if like what's like from this breach, maybe here, but even like on the high ground.
Sure, you could even be here, depending on how far the card is pushed, right? Like you could be up here. This is probably the best spot. Like you got great cover. You could supports can see. You could go like there's all sorts of things that you could do here. Like you really like the nice thing about Genji, and this is why I love this character so much, is it asks you to role play. It asks you to be a ninja, right? If you want to play this character correctly, you do have to position and play like a ninja. And if you don't, he's not all that good. So, a little bit of here, it's okay. Like, I get it. Everyone wants those deflects. But ultimately, please don't do that at the expense of your setup, because this is not what makes Genji great, right? This is what makes Genji great. You'd still shoot Sigma, but make this guy turn around and look up this way. Make him turn his back to the rest of your team. That's kind of the challenge here, right? That's not only good for you killing people, but that's also good for your safety as well. There's no cover here, right? There's no escape route here.
Yeah.
So ultimately, I think this fight's nice deflect. I think this fight's probably pretty much lost, just because you lost your Reaper so early. Nice job. But ultimately, I want to see all of what you did, but starting from this position here.
Yep.
Starting from this position here. Yeah, okay, good job. Mechanics, by the way, so far, I mean, maybe this is just a nice game from you, a hot game. Not a problem. Not a problem. In fact, I would go as far to guess, I would guess platinum. I would not guess gold. So far.
I think like when, at least on Overwatch 1, I was like mid-high plat. I like peaked diamond pretty much, and after that, still plat. So.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, so I had an idea that I might deflect it.
I mean, you
but yeah,
can, you can. You were like, I think a whole like a couple of centimeters off. Like it was really close, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see where the enemies are. Where's your close angle here? It's hard, right? It's not here. It's
Yeah.
not, it's not here. It's also not here. This is too far, right? So how are you going to approach this? You're going to have to use your wall climb. You're going to have to use your speed. You might have to use your dash. You tell me. How do you get here?
Close angle, right?
Or
It's hard because I'm
closer.
thinking
Closer.
close. I guess like you see like this a basement, some kind of a basement.
Like down here or
No,
down
like on
over
the
here?
yeah, no, like behind it.
Like here?
No, like go like straight.
Yeah? Yeah? Like okay, I'm going to
And,
put myself here. You say left or right?
Yeah, like behind you,
Okay.
and right a little bit. So like when the exit is, maybe like here.
So like here. Okay. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I mean, you're kind of on the floor. And to be fair, it's not a great angle. Let me tell you
Yeah,
why.
like there, you see, like you can see an exit written.
Sure,
Like in
sure,
the-
sure.
Yeah,
So here. So
here, yeah, here, pretty
Okay.
much. That's how
Yeah, I
saw
got you. I got you. Okay, so it's closer and it is a bit of an
Yeah.
angle, right? So he's looking here. They'd have to look there. That's like 10 degrees of an angle, right? That's not enough.
Yeah.
That's not enough. It's better than where you're positioned right now. That is true. I need you to get. I need you to get a little bit crazier with it.
And you can try breach probably, but I'm afraid it quite might be risky. I'm not sure.
So here is a much deeper angle, and it is closer, but maybe it's not close enough. You're still going to get sniped or pushed out. Okay, so let me help you out a little bit. I want you to dash the bridge here. Okay,
Yeah.
now what? Now what? Because you're not finished. What's the next step? Throw some shurikens. Maybe see what they do. Now what? How can you get closer from here?
I guess, yeah.
Okay, what would you do?
Probably like I would go and I would try to distract them. Like let's say
Yeah.
push like supports
Yeah.
from their team, and
Yeah.
that means that I should go like behind you. There are like stairs to like to
Like
to
here.
down. Yeah, here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
I
so-
guess it will be like better since
I mean,
they will
it's
distract.
yeah. I mean, I like what you're doing here. There's risk here for sure, but maybe
Probably
there's,
a flank, not a short
okay.
angle, I
Okay,
guess.
so but there isn't a good short angle available, is there? You notice this?
Yeah, true.
There
Yeah.
not So you may need to flank here. Now here's a question. What if we put you through this exit, walked around here, and you shot the Hanzo, or even you shot this guy from here? Right?
Yeah.
What if you used that wall, climbed up, and popped your deflect or popped your shots here and then dropped again and hid? What if you went all the way around behind, sneaky, threw some shurikens, baited their attention, ran away? You get what I'm saying? Like this is
Yeah.
kind of like all of a sudden you're right. Maybe the flank is all that's available here because this space is so open. But this is the level of challenge that you have to be applying essentially. Because if
Yeah.
you don't, you're not going to feel. This is not going to feel good. Now I know you're thinking, oh, but I have blade. I don't care. Blade is a reflection of good positioning. You can blade from all the positions that we just talked about.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to blade from main because you want, like, let's say the mercy pocket, okay, that's fine. But the question is can I dash to here, set your short angle here, and then blade from here? I think so. That's going to feel a lot better. It's going to feel a lot better. Let's see what you do. Okay, next step. Right? You shouldn't be here. You kind of see what I'm saying? You're allowing them to kind of throw everything into this one spot. And it's from range as well, too, right? You talk about Sigma, Hanzo, Soldier.
Yeah.
You're just throwing damage your way. There's no distraction, there's no setup, and so on. Okay, let's see what happens. It looks like your Moira actually sets the angle for you. Yes, look. And see, now I hope I'm not wrong, but I am confident that this blade is going to work now. But not because you're the best Genji of all time, but because your Moira's just helped you so much right now.
I'm not sure if I actually blading here.
Yeah, you might not even need to.
Yeah, I don't need
The angle from your Moira was so good.
Moiras are crazy like this, right?
Yeah. You want a funny story? I've coached 3 top 500 Moiras, okay? 2 of them were DPS flank Moiras.
I mean,
In top 500.
To be honest, I hate Moira. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
it's probably
yeah.
not surprisingly from like Genji
Oh
main,
yeah,
but like,
she's terrible. I hate her too. I think she's a really badly designed hero. No, I'm
yeah,
with you.
yeah, yeah. That's the whole point. Because like, I don't know, like, I always frustrating because like you don't need to do anything on this character. You can just like use one button and kill everyone,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
kill me at least.
yeah, she definitely has like a very low skill floor. But whenever I do have a Moira on my team, I hope that she's flanking. Let's put it that way,
Yeah, yeah.
because it
Yes,
helps out a
like,
lot. It helps out a lot.
This Moira made a great play, honestly, compared to how I
Yeah,
play.
because the Moira's to sit in the backline and just heal. It's like she's just not. Like there's so many other characters that could do that better, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's my like probably the biggest issue with Moira, because like usually people don't play like Frank Moiras. They try
Yeah.
to heal and occasionally use like damage orbs.
Yeah,
So
yeah, exactly.
that's why I hope they will switch to something more efficient.
Okay, let's keep going here. I will say, like on a micro level here, this is where if your plan is to dash at somebody, I don't like deflecting first. Like I appreciate you trying to deflect for your hazard here, but this is where I prefer you to be honest.
That's actually my idea, because like he was dying and I didn't.
I understand, but I mean, to be fair, it does work, right? It does work. I mean, he dies anyway, but I saw the vision. But be very careful about deflecting first and then dashing afterwards, right? You generally want to dash and then deflect out. Think back to the first point with Bastion. Remember, dashing through. You died to Sigma Rock, right? But if you imagine you had not had your deflect here, right? And the Bastion would have murdered you, right? Instantly.
True.
So
I wouldn't have done it without deflect, to be honest.
Correct. But should you have dashed a soldier without deflect there either? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just was confident that I'm gonna kill him.
Good blade. Well timed. Let's talk about a couple of the things that you do well with this blade. You set it up from verticality. I mean, it's not great that you started here. We would have liked you to pop blade from even like here, right? Or even underneath, but sure. You pop your blade, you use a little bit of verticality. You don't dash immediately. You force her TP out. You dash behind and slash. Then you dash again, and then this is a really important micro thing here. You actually jump up and over his head, right? That's obviously, this is something that if you ever get into that death match, this is something that you would need to practice over and over and over again, right? Not just doing this with blade, but doing this with your shurikens as well. Your double jump is most useful for getting over people's heads.
Yeah.
You don't want to double jump in front of somebody here, but you do want to double jump over somebody here. Because even in top 500 Grandmaster, these shots are really hard to hit for him. So really, really nicely done. My only concern, and this is a very important one, again, is this.
Deflect, yeah.
It's the same. Remember, we try to avoid dashing without deflect. You try to avoid blading without deflect as well.
Should it be like only like when you're talking about deflect, or like the same thing with dash? Let's say I don't need to use deflect if I don't have dash, because let's say it can be my escape button pretty much.
Right, pretty much. Like you really want to make sure that you have deflect in, you deflect in and then dash out, or dash in and deflect out, right? Like you need those cooldowns. I'm noticing a lot, and this is a very common problem, where you really want that front line deflect. Like you really want to just deflect down this choke, right? You really want, it just feels really good. But it's just, even at gold, it just doesn't always work, right? Like you look at this here.
But just sorry again for interrupting. It's just like in that point, like with that choke when you showed it, I pretty much done it because I didn't think like it matters that much, because like they still will come, to me. True. And like my defect will be okay in like 6 seconds. So.
Well, that's the question. If the answer is yes, I'll have it back when I need it, then that's okay. But as we saw here, you deflected and then just kind of kept standing here instead of repositioning.
Yeah.
Okay. Right? And then in this situation, you deflect because you're like, oh, maybe the same. And then you go in for the blade. And I really need deflect like right now. Like right now, this is a deflect. This is when you need. Notice that you have deflect in 1 second. You need it now, like right now. You need this deflect in front of this Hanzo and then dash, right? You kind of see what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's well executed mechanically, I will say. But it's one of those moments where you need to be really careful whenever you don't have your deflect.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. But the micro of the blade was actually quite good. You did a good job with it. Good stuff. Okay, let's keep going here. So short angle. Let's see where we're setting up. I mean, this is a perfect example of the importance of deflect when you dash, right? Because you're gonna need it right now. This is gonna be important. Oh, you're caught in a reload. That's unfortunate. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's all right. Okay. Short angle or flank if necessary.
Yep.
With where the enemy team is, that deflects fine because you'll have it back when you need it. Where should you be? Where's your short angle?
Probably like on the top of this like thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Somewhere around here. Shooting tank, shooting Hanzo, maybe like letting them walk forward and sneaking behind. Let's go.
I just feel like sometimes, like, when I want to do that, I'm not sure if my supports will heal me, because, like, sometimes, just supports don't see you, like, as they see tank, let's say, because, I mean, at least in gold, like, I feel like they are really focused on keeping tank alive, and I understand it, and I respect it, and I never, like, like, blame someone, but it's just, again, like, this fear of dying, and, let's say my team have to wait for me, it's just maybe...
Here's the truth. An unsupported good position is better than a supported bad position.
Yeah, probably.
As long as your team is fighting at the same time as you are, it doesn't matter. Like, we go back to what you're saying is like your supports are double pocketing tank. Let's say your Moira and Mercy are ignoring you and they're just double pocketing tank. As long as you are poking and fighting at the same time as your hazard, then it's okay.
Yep.
It's still okay.
Okay.
Now, you can kind of see some of the difficulties with this position here. Is like right now it feels too far, right?
Yeah.
Feels a little far. But that being said, if it feels too far here, then what's the next step? Because it feels too far here. You're right. What now?
Become closer, I guess.
How? It's hard, right?
Yeah, quite hard. It's probably
be creative.
Again.
Be creative or be patient. Your choice.
I'd say be patient, probably.
Okay, so you're gonna like let them kind of walk forward a little bit more, so that you
because like you see the payload, even if like in like it's far away from our tank at least. And,
Does that sound familiar? Do you remember what we were talking about way over here?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go, right? Yeah. Remember we were like, you don't necessarily need to be fighting over here. They have to come touch payload. We can kind of sit and wait here, or we could sit and wait here, right? Absolutely. Okay, now let's say that I said, no, you have to fight now. Your hazard just dashed in and dived in. We got to go. Where can you go? What's the next step?
If he dives in, I have to dive with him, I guess.
So where do you go? But remember the position, short angle, right? Don't just think about a target. Think about what's
then I guess like Kiriko is probably the closest one, so it's the shortest angle actually.
Apply pressure in Kiriko. You could even dash across to this ledge here and apply pressure from here.
Yeah.
Do you see how much better this feels?
Yep. Yeah. It's because like two characters.
It's an evolution. It's similar to what our problem was on second point, where like you were like, well, I don't really like poking from here because it feels too far, and you were right. But you wouldn't necessarily need to stop there. You could get to here, or you could go underneath to here, right? You kind of see what I'm saying? So you got to be constantly thinking, where can I go? Where can I go? Where can I go? Okay. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
I thought our hazard was dead. You get close, you have your deflect, nicely done, right? It's a lot easier to dash in on somebody who's far away when you have your deflect. Well done. Okay. Push a little cart.
That's pretty much...
Where should you be? Yeah. Like last thing before we go to the defense here, where should you be?
Closer, much closer.
Probably closer, right? Probably closer. Yeah. Hugging here or here. If you want to be really silly, you can sit back here and hide, right? Your choice here. Okay, so let's look at a little bit of defense here, and then we'll go from there. Any questions so far?
No, I think it's understandable. I mean, I ask questions when I have them. So.
Sure. Okay. Good. I like you pushing forward because your hazard is clearly pushing forward.
Yeah, as a plan. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. Like this is like a pretty high level strategy if you guys fall off of it, because you're gonna lose, but the card hasn't moved.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have a really early recontest here. Now the challenge is, can you keep those close angles? Because it's really tempting with Roadhog to just snipe him over and over and over and over again. But obviously, like that's not gonna work for actually winning fights. Close angle, yes or no? Kinda, right?
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah. Now you're kind of down one here. Actually, you're down two. You're hog, so I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, but I guess I have cover. And actually, so.
Yeah, this is good. I like the setup from you here. Right here, really nice, right? That's the ninja, right? You can use this angle here. Hog foot looks at you. He doesn't look at your team. You can wall climb up and over. This whole space here is like really good for Genji, right? For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Case in point, you can dash in and not die. I actually think there you don't have to worry about chasing targets too hard. I guess you're like, oh, she's half, but you know, this is fine. And again, do you see the value of the deflect? You see the value of the deflect. You dash in, fail the kill, understandable. Get hindered, but you have your deflect. I know so many Genjis that would have sat here and deflected, and then dashed the Mercy and then died right there. Very nice. So what's the difference here with the attempt on the kill? Because you just did this.
Yeah, I didn't have deflect.
That's part of it. It's more than that, though. You didn't have your deflect. You didn't have your HP either, to be honest with you.
HP cover, but like, yeah, I think like at that point I felt confident into killing her, and actually, yeah, I could have killed her, and maybe like I had enough time to dash away, but yeah, since my mechanics kind of sucked there, so yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. You're 76 HP before you've even dashed, to be honest.
Yeah, probably.
I think that's the big thing. I'll say one other detail that has kind of been repeated here from us is that when you're able to dash to a location with cover, it works, but look at where you're at right now. There's no escaping. Yeah. Even if you get the kill, there's no escaping. You're dead. So it's not just who you die, but also where, right? Yeah. Where. Yeah. Is there cover? There's no cover. And you spotted out. So it's kind of like a little bit of everything. You didn't have your deflect. You didn't have your HP. You're in the middle of nowhere. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Now, again, the good news here is that if you're positioned well, this is a really good spot on the map for you, right? I mean, look at the high grounds, right? You could basically drop on anybody that you want. And you don't even need to use your dash to get out. This is bad for one reason. One reason only. Your team can't follow up.
Sometimes it's my problem that I can't like track where my team is.
That's it. Your hog. You just need to be a little bit more patient to let them walk to literally here and then blade, so that your team can shoot them.
Yep, makes sense. At least I got like ultimate from.
Yep, and you didn't die for it. This is a short angle. I don't hate it. I think this is okay. But the problem is I think you don't have to go this crazy when there's literally just a high ground you can sit here and shoot.
Yeah, probably.
But at least it's a short angle, right? Like they're looking here, your team is looking here. So there's a chance that this could work. Don't do this. Where should you be instead?
Right? On high ground.
On high ground, right? Yeah. Go here. Go here, you know? This is why I was kind of annoyed about these deflects, is because oftentimes it is correlated with you being in a bad position because you want that juicy frontline deflect on hog. It feels good, right? But the reality is it just doesn't do as much. Okay. Because when you frontline deflect, you can't dash on anybody. That's the reality.
True.
Whoops. Okay. Nice. This is fine. Goodness gracious, that damage is insane. I don't really like where your team is fighting, but I mean... I guess it's... You're making the best of it, right? You got to fight with him, so sure.
Yeah, I guess it's the same approach as we had like at first point.
Yeah. Take an early fight. Yeah, exactly. And this is why you save your deflect, right? You committed your dash again. You have your deflect. You're good to go. Yep, go for it. It's fine. This is, again, a really good spot for you, so sure. I know you're thinking about frontline deflected, and I can tell. Good. You needed your deflect there to keep yourself alive. That's okay. This is just this space is just not very good for you. But your team is doing a good job taking good trades here. We might even see an ult from these guys. You're back now. Yeah, there's an Orisa ult. Beautiful. Get out. Run. Nice. Okay. So now cart's moving. I want to see a perfect setup, and we'll finish with this. I want to see a well set up staged blade with deflect, and well timed.
You have to wait then. Yes, I remember this moment. Yeah, unfortunately, like I was trying to wait for my team, but yeah, like they were.
Oh no! Oh, it happens. It happens. I get it. Good try.
Yeah, just to save card.
Yeah. To save card. And hey, you know what you got? Deflect. You have your deflect here. This is really important. Yeah. This is really, really important. I actually believe that this might work with your deflect here.
Yeah, you'll see. Because I remember this moment.
Yeah. Very good. I mean, I'm telling you what, beautiful. Risky, but beautiful because you had your deflect, right? Because you had your deflect. You obviously didn't have time to set it up, right? So I'm actually going to watch one more fight because I want to see a good setup from you. Oh my goodness gracious. Hey, you know what? You set up well, okay? Like
that's understandable. I mean, like it's not so.
Right. You set up well, okay? So I'll give you some credit for the setup. So big things here. Let's talk about the big things here. Set up on short angles or flanks if necessary. Don't worry so much about what you shoot as where you shoot. Because I think there's this reality that like people look at Genji like, oh, you can't be shooting tank as Genji, you may be killing backline. Because you have more flexibility with your positioning, you can oftentimes shoot backline more than like a Bastion, but you don't have to. Like you could be a really big nuisance on that. Like it's shoot Roadhog, sure, but make him turn to you so that he loses to your tank, right?
Yeah.
It's not so much about where you shoot or excuse me, what you shoot. It's just where, okay? So then the next one is if dash in, managing deflect for that is important. So keep an eye on those unnecessary frontline deflects late in setup phase. Late in poke phase, we'll say. Just times when you need to be thinking about your positioning. Don't set them about, oh, I'm going to deflect. No, setup. Set up so that you can actually go for these combos, right? You can go for these plays. Check teams, enemies, enemy position to educate your positions. And with Blade, even more important to have deflect. Even more important. Because it's basically, hey, everybody look at me button, right? So you need to have some sort of punishment there to allow you to get more consistent blades. Do you have any questions? I know we spoke about a lot of little things, a lot of big things. Do you have any questions?
I guess like it's quite a big question, but like maybe you can give me an advice of like how to play against like a lot of counters, let's say. And if I want to be miserable and I want to play against them, so I don't
right.
want
the hero misery, right? The video you looked at.
Because it's like really hard sometimes. Like I mean, I can understand. Try to like let's say they have like Moira, like Pharah, something like Echo, and something else, and like usually what I'm trying to do is like to not get close to them because like usually at least like Moira will completely destroy me and like something like that. But then try to get value.
That's your problem. You have to get closer.
Yeah.
You have to use your verticality. You have to use your angles. You might die. It's fine. But if now that you understand what I'm talking about with short angles, I actually want you to consider going back and watching that Genji hero misery and looking at how you can force fade, you can force this, you can distract, you can dash out when you get low. You cannot beat a Pharah Echo Moira comp by sniping. You cannot with Genji. You just can't. You have to take risks. You have to use high ground, right? And you'll notice that the Genji in the video, he's like, high diamond, mid, low masters. He's using that verticality, even if he's not even hitting all the shots, just to distract, hide, harass, using that more. And when he doesn't, he dies. When he doesn't, he dies. So I think that's the real myth. We talk about Genji myths like Sniper Genji or Farming Blade or whatever. One of the most important ones is that versus your counters, you should kind of play your distance. And in reality, most of your counters, with the exception of maybe like Zarya, right? You need to get close. You need to find angles. Like you need to get close without dying. Can you do that? Can you use your verticality?
Verticality, short angles, try to find a way to
and it's still not easy, right? Like Moira has some decent mobility too, right? It's not easy, but that has to be the challenge. If you can do it, great. If not, and I think I like that more because it also means that you're not actually like you're actually playing the game. If you're gonna die, okay, I died. Unlucky, go next. But at least I'm playing the game. At least I'm sitting in my backline throwing shurikens from 25 meters away. If you're gonna die, do it playing the game. And I think that's going to be the big thing for you. So now it's still going to be frustrating because when you do die versus a Moira, it's not like you got out mechanicked, right? You didn't get outplayed. She just right-clicked you. But that's how it goes, right? That's how it goes.
Yeah.
At least she has 225 HP now, right?
Hopefully they will make it less.
Yeah, maybe they just give her like 50 HP, so you throw 2 shurikens, she dies. That's
I'm just waiting for any updates, to be honest, because it was
yeah,
it was
fair enough.
good, yeah.
Fair enough.